The only horror movie that's ever made me look away was The Fly. And I've seen some messed up shit. So today I'm ranking the most disturbing horror movies I've ever seen. Not how disturbing they are to other people, but how disturbing they are to me. So the ranking system. I have 4 tiers. For those 4 tiers, at the bottom we have would watch after Shrek. So this is not disturbing to me at all. Then I have would rewatch. So this is a movie that might be seen as a bit disturbing, but I would rewatch it. Then I have would rewatch with friends just to traumatize them. These are movies I think are good movies. So I think you should watch them, and I would show this one to friends. But I did find it very disturbing. So that goes in there. And then we have Never Again. These are movies that I'm like, okay, I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did this to myself. I wouldn't do this to anyone else. Stay away from this, please. So let's just jump right into our first movie. Our first movie I have today is a Serbian film. So for a Serbian film, I watched this when I was like 18 because I wanted to see how much I could take from horror movies. But while I was watching it, I was just like, this doesn't feel clever to me at all. It doesn't feel like a message that has to be said. I don't think if the message they meant didn't come through at all. It just felt like a snuff film. It felt disgusting. I kept asking, why are we doing this? And why are we doing this in this way? What's the point? I think you're just trying to shock us and make us disgusted, which it worked. I was disturbed and disgusted, and I just don't think it has any meaningful value. The movie is so dark. I don't think it's worth a watch. I think it's just there for shock value, for people to show people how much they can handle in horror movie, to tell people that they've seen it. I think that's all this movie is worth. So this one is going in Never Again, because I just wish I never watched it in the first place, to be honest. So the next movie I have is Saw 2. I picked Saw 2 out of the whole franchise because it's my favorite. So that's just why it's there. I don't think the Saw movies are disturbing. For Saw 2, I really like the whole room setting. It felt like a twisted escape room, you know, with more gore. And it's just very fun. I don't think it's too disturbing. I think it's just gore. And I think if you can't handle gore, it becomes disturbing to you. I mean, that's what disturbing is. I know some people find it disturbing, but for me, it would be a would watch after Shrek, because I would watch it after Shrek, because it's not disturbing. It's just a fun movie and a fun franchise. Now, the next movie is Midsommar. I know that people, when it first released, found this movie very disturbing. You know, it's very, very colorful, and it's unsettling because it's a cold setting, but everything is so sunshine and rainbows that it feels even more dark, and people find the themes disturbing in this movie. For me, this is just a tragedy. Just like how Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, this movie is a tragedy to me. It's beautiful, but it's so sad, and you're not sure what to feel at the end of the movie. You don't know who to root for, and you don't know if you're happy with the ending or sad. So this is a fun conversation to have with people about the ending. Did you like it, or did you feel sad at the end? So I think it's just a tragedy. It's not disturbing at all. I would rewatch this after Shrek, because for me, I could handle all the gore, and the themes of this movie weren't disturbing to me. Now, Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2, I personally like the Terrifying movies. Do I think they're disturbing? I think it has disturbing elements, that's for sure. Terrifier 2 is my favorite because I think it has the best practical effects, because they had like months to shoot one scene because of Corona lockdown. So they were like, well, let's just make it as gory as possible. And they did that. They very much did that. If you've seen it, you know which scene I mean. That's very interesting to see how they use the effects. I think that's very cool. I really appreciate that. So for Terrifier 2, I do think it is disturbing to an extent. But for me, I would rewatch, even though it is a very, very gory movie. I would still put it at would rewatch because I really like the movie. But now for Terrifier 3, on the other hand, I didn't enjoy it. The practical effects were there. I mean, the whole fire extinguisher ice thing I thought was kind of a very cool effect. But at this movie, it just felt like they were trying to shock. It didn't feel like they were trying to continue the story and show more practical effects per se. It just felt like they were trying to shock people and make people talk about the movie by shocking them. That doesn't sit right with me, because I feel like the audience are not stupid. I would say would rewatch just to traumatize my friends. Just to traumatize them because they would be scared, which would make it funny, but I wouldn't rewatch it for myself. So it's going in there. Okay, now, The Fly. I've seen some body horror. I watched this movie not too long ago for the first time, and I knew I don't like body horror. I didn't even know it was going to be body horror. I didn't even know what the plot was going to be. So when I found out during the movie what it was turning into, I was like, oh god, no, because body horror is my weakness. This has to go in there because I just don't want to see it again, even though it's a great story, it's a great movie, great acting, great practical effects. I just can't handle body horror, and this movie has done it so well that I felt so uncomfortable that I couldn't even watch the third act. I had to look away and just look down sometimes just so I could catch the special, like the practical effects. Just for that, I had to look at the screen sometime during the third act. Otherwise, I would have just turned it off because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. So now I have Hostel, and honestly, I kind of forgettable. It wasn't my kind of movie. I just felt like it was like Saw's little brother that had to come because mom said you had to bring your little brother. That's what Hostel feels like to me. So for Hostel, it doesn't disturb me. I think the story of rich people paying to torture people is not something that apparently is far-fetched in this world. So that makes it very disturbing. But I wouldn't choose to rewatch it, not because of the disturbing aspects of it. I wouldn't rewatch it because I just don't like it. But I would put this and would rewatch because I could rewatch it to give it another chance. I didn't find it disturbing. I found it less disturbing than Saw. And I don't find Saw disturbing. So the next one I have is Human Centipede 2. I chose the second one because I think this is the most disturbing one of all three of them. Human Centipede 2, it didn't feel like a horror movie. It felt like a snuff film. It felt like I was on the dark web and watching a snuff film. Disgusting. Weird in a bad way. Unnecessary. The movie just feels miserable and disgusting. And I never want to watch this again. So this is a very simple never again. Because why? Why did they do that? Wasn't one enough? So now I have Evil Dead 2013. The bloodiest movie ever made. Like the rain scene alone at the end was 50,000 of the 70,000 gallons of blood that they've used for this movie. That's crazy. And I think that the Evil Dead franchise in a whole is just amazing. But this is a good continuation of the story. I mean, everybody sees it as a remake, but it's not. It's a sequel. And I think it's a very good sequel. And I did find it very disturbing. Not disturbing in a way that I can't handle it or I had to look away or I was disgusted with myself after watching it. I think Evil Dead is so good at making you care about the characters that makes it even more disturbing if something bad happens to them. So I would say Evil Dead is a would rewatch for me, definitely. So now I have The Substance. So The Substance, it's also body horror. I was scared going into it because I know I can't handle it, but I had to see it. So it turned very disturbing for me, but very campy at the end. It is a disturbing movie and it hits close to home for people living in this time, you know, the beauty standards. So it was disturbing, but it wasn't traumatizing. But I would traumatize my friends with it. So I will put it at would rewatch just to traumatize them because it was a lot for me, but I would rewatch it just to show it to someone because I think it's a good movie and I think I could traumatize them with it. So the next movie I have is Tusk. I hate this one so much. It disturbed me more than The Fly did, even though I didn't have to look away during this movie because, well, I didn't see it as an option at the time. But this movie, the ending made me so sick. The ending made me so sick. And everything that I hate or can't handle in a horror movie is in here. And it's, I'm just gonna put it at never again because I honestly, this is my most hated movie ever. Not because it's per se bad, I hate it so much that it has to go in never, never, never again. So our next movie is Hereditary. Many people see this as a very disturbing movie, especially the car scene, you know. I was shocked watching that scene, so I was shocked. I wasn't disturbed. and the whole family dynamic can be disturbing for people. It has a very melancholy feeling to it. I just thought the movie was psychologically devastating. It was beautiful and sad, and I think I would definitely rewatch, not after Shrek, but I would rewatch it because it does have disturbing elements to it. It's very sad, and it feels it creeps like into your heart, but it's not in itself per se that disturbing to watch. So it's staying there in would rewatch. So the next movie I have is Megan is Missing. Megan is Missing. It felt very real watching this movie for me. It felt like actually finding tapes myself of a situation that's very cruel and dark and disturbing. And yeah, I just don't think it's as disturbing as people say it is. So it's just going in with rewatch with friends just to traumatize them. So the next movie I have is Last House on the Left. Once again, it's a movie that has SA elements in there that I think are very drawn out and too detailed. I don't appreciate that in a movie. I think it's used for shock value too much. It's a very regular thing to use in movies just to make people feel bad for a character when there's other ways you can do that. I don't think using a scene per se is very bad. I just think because it was drawn out and too detailed, it felt unnecessary. The rest of the movie is fine. It was fun. I liked it. Enjoyable movie for the rest of it. But I would say I would rewatch this, but I would probably skip that scene because I don't think that's necessary at all. The next movie I have is Martyrs. This is an amazing movie, but oh my god. Even the beginning, the trauma imagery scared me to death. I was so scared during the first half of the movie that I was like, what's even going to happen in the second half? But then the second half came and I was like, oh my god, I'm scared. I was terrified. I was disturbed. I actually rooted for the characters, and my god, what a horrible movie to root for the characters. But it was still such a beautiful movie, and the ending was amazing. I just think it should go in would we watch to traumatize my friends, because it is very disturbing to me. I was very disturbed, especially the torture, excruciating torture in this movie. But I would rewatch it because it's very good and when I want to show it to people. So the last movie I have is Texas Chainsaw: The Beginning. For me, this is the most disturbing of all the Chainsaw movies. For this movie, I really cared about the characters, like the brothers and the friends, the two girlfriends. They were also friends. They were all friends with each other. I really cared for their story, the military that they were going to, the struggles they have with fear and trauma and PTSD. I actually cared about the characters. So for this to be the most gory one, I think, of all the Texas Chainsaw movies, I felt really bad. I would rewatch this movie after Shrek though. But what I've learned from this list is that don't just make a disturbing movie because you want it to be disturbing. Don't just add stuff for shock value, because audiences are not stupid. We can see what you're doing. And if people care about the characters, you could do way less and people would be disturbed way more because they care about the people. So the more you care about a character, the more disturbing it will be. So you don't have to do as much if you just write better characters. But once again, a little weird is okay. A bit crazy is also okay, as long as it's done with taste and with care for the story. Now I'm actually curious, what's the most disturbing horror movie you've ever seen? And are there movies on this list that you're like, those are not disturbing to me at all? Why did you put it at the top? Let me know. I would love to hear them. Thank you for watching this video. See you later. Bye!